Hi everyone. Mark from Retribution Gaming here, welcoming you back to the Summer of Sonic, where we are not in fact playing Sonic CD, but continuing with the original Sonic the Hedgehog, diving into the pain in the ass that is the Labyrinth zone. This has got to be one of my least favorite zones in the entire classic series, for three main reasons. 1. Underwater levels are never fun. 2. There are a lot of cheap traps and hazards in this zone, especially in later acts. And 3. It has the most frustrating encounter with Robotnik in the whole of the classic series. I loathe Act 3 with a passion, and when we get there, you'll see why. As you can see, this zone's gimmick is that it is underwater. This makes navigating tricky, as your movement is slowed, but also requires that you collect air from air pockets dotted around the level. Here's one on the floor, but you have to wait for a large bubble to appear before you can suck in that precious air. I think this version might be a bit more generous with these air pockets than the original, but I'm not too sure. To me, there seems to be more. If you don't get out of the water, or find an air pocket in a specified time, Sonic will start to drown. The music will change and a countdown will appear over his head. You then have 5 seconds to find some air or it's loss of a life. I remember this gave me some very tense moments when I was a kid playing this for the first time. Also of note, this rippling effect on the background was only in the Japanese version of the original, and was not included in the international releases. I think it's a subtle but great effect. That's one thing I do like about this zone though, and another is the music. Considering how tricky this zone can be, it's kinda somewhat calming, although its tropical sounding vibe does seem a bit out of place. It is a nice tune though, but far from my favorite, that comes in the next zone. Well, that didn't work. A bit early on the release there I think. Ah, here's the drowning counter. But I am standing on an air pocket, so it's not an issue. There, just in time. These rotating morning stars are a common occurrence throughout Labyrinth Zone 2. And coupled with the thrusting spears that pop out from the walls, floors and ceilings, can prove a pain in the ass. Okay, no idea what that button does. Opens a door off screen probably. And now we've taken in a lungful, we can continue. Oh checkpoint, how happy I am to see you. It's in Labyrinth Zone where they really do come in handy, due to how tricky this stage is. You really do appreciate not having to restart the beginning of the act. Well, that wasn't clever. At least the water levels drop though. It's these spears I was talking about. These ones, not so bad, unless you spin dash into them of course, but the horizontal ones can be annoying. We'll want to be avoiding that Orbinaut. Oh, these gargoyles annoy me too. On their own, mildly irritating, but combined with those spears, they can be devilishly frustrating. Okay, up we go, avoiding the spears. And that's the end of the act. So, not only is this zone tricky, but the acts are long too. 4 minutes 22? And so on to Act 2. And so here we have more of the same, and when I say more, I don't just mean a repeat of the cheap tricks found in Act 1, but more of them too. And the addition of these water slides. Okay, I'm stuck on something. I don't know if that invincibility is going to be too useful here, to be honest. And then we encounter spikes with an Orbinaut. Maybe I should have just got the power up after all. At least there are a couple of ring boxes here though. Nicely avoiding the morning stars. Let's keep going. Need to get out of the water at least. Ah, a shield. Which would have been handy just then, although I was jumping over to the shield itself. There we go. Why didn't I do that first time? Oh come on. Just as well there's a lot of rings in this area. Wow, narrowly avoided that fireball. And I'm missing a button for this door. I reckon it's down the bottom somewhere, so let's pick these up on the way. Oh, it was there under the rings. And it was hiding a beloved checkpoint. This time I will get the invincibility. Also, there's something about this Sonic 1 theme tune that really gets to me, like I feel a real sense of nostalgia whenever I hear it. Oh hurry up, where's this bubble? Oh okay, let's carry on. And immediately get hit with a fireball. How do they even work underwater anyway? And now after seeing this air pocket, can't help but think I wasted the last few seconds of the invincibility. Damn it, the Orbinaut got me. And even though the checkpoint wasn't too far behind, I'm gonna fast forward back here. So I avoided the Orbinaut this time, and the morning star. Although I guess I spoke too soon. Gotta be careful now. Thankfully, I can duck this Orbinaut's projectiles. Okay, let's grab some of these rings, then ride this mechanism upwards. Okay, that was my fault, I wasn't paying attention. Apologies for the momentary lapse in concentration there folks, I don't know what happened. But back on it now. Also, I hope you don't mind the use of Supersonic Warrior for my time skips. But that's Act 2, and that felt like more of a slog than Act 1. Now, on to what is probably my most hated stage in the whole Sonic series, and yes that includes the Game Gear version of Sonic Spinball. Labyrinth, Zone, Act 3. My gripes about the rest of this zone still ring true here, but this also has one of the most irritating boss encounters in all of the classic games. And, oddly, you don't even need to defeat Robotnik to beat the stage, rendering the whole thing kinda meaningless. Plus, there is very little wiggle room for error, so if you're not careful you will find yourself starting the act over. So let's hope we can find a checkpoint quickly, seeing as how I've already shown how rubbish I am at this game. Let's just address something I mentioned previously now that I'm in Act 3, remember how I said the zones were rearranged late in development? Could you imagine having a nice time beating Green Hill Zone and then being confronted with Labyrinth Zone? This is by far the trickiest zone in the game, compounding its already difficult platforming with underwater sections, so I think the developers were right to move it. But I still think it should be the penultimate zone, instead of Zone 4. Oh, that was cheap, but I was lucky to avoid getting stabbed by that spear. Not so much there though. I definitely don't remember there being this many air pockets in the original version of this zone. Rings are nice though. As is air. Combination of nasty spiky things though, I'm not such a fan of. Wow, that was close. But that was unlucky. Let's see if we can't replenish these rings. Whoa, I had no idea these burrobots could jump from platform to platform. Gotta keep an eye on these guys from now on. Okay, well I missed that platform. And had quite a nasty landing. But, let's try that again. Ooh, sparklies. Now these spikes can't harm me, my quills are like a shield of steel. Nothing else this way. Except maybe a way to waste my invincibility. Okay, now's the time to grab some air. Pressing on then. More sparklies? Wow, I mean, that should give you some inclination as to the perceived difficulty of this act. And there's a checkpoint. That shield would be nice too. Now where does this spring take us? There we go. Okay, well this section doesn't look so nice. But we managed to get through. Now where will this take us? Okay, to a button that reverses the conveyor. Now where does it take us? Yeah, Sonic, I'm getting fed up with this zone too. Ooh, another checkpoint. Best hit that. Well, that wasn't too useful. Thankfully, we can bring the water level back down again. Ah, we're nearing the end of the act. But this is where it starts getting hair-tearingly annoying. Firstly, we have to ascend this section. And here's the start of the Robotnik encounter, which is essentially a chase up the rest of the act, avoiding hazards, all whilst the water is rising. Oh yeah, there are also no air pockets in this section, so you have to make it up without running out of air too. Although in my opinion, those gargoyles are the biggest threat. And there it forced me to jump into the spear. Well that, quite frankly, was rubbish. And once again, I think it's time for a fast forward. Okay, confession time. I attempted this once more, and then rage quit, and didn't return until a few hours later. I had another few attempts, around 10 in total, but instead of fast forwarding through them all, I'm just going to cut to the successful attempt, and not talk over it. So here it is. See? Don't even have to defeat Robotnik to beat the act. But beat it we did, finally. And that was the ever headache-inducing Labyrinth zone. Join me next time for the penultimate area, and possibly my favorite music track, Starlight Zone. Until then. A special shout out goes to these wonderful people, without whom none of this would ever have happened. Also be sure to check out Scared for Science, where a self-confessed total wimp scares herself silly in the name of Alzheimer's UK. I have linked to her pages in the video description below. So, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll be back for the next one. Until then, I'll see you later.